Namaste bachcho. Myself JV and Dr. Monica Trivedi. Today I am going to teach you the properties of the elements of first transition series. Okay. In previous lectures we have learned about the properties of the D block element, characteristics of the D block elements, and for today's lecture I have chosen the topic the properties of the element of the first transition series. Okay, so this series start at the scandium and the element of the third group and ends with the zinc, the element of the group 12, contain a total 10 element. This series of elements lies between the calcium and gallium, which is a group second element. Okay, so the 10 electron of the first transition series are scandium with 21 electronic number, titanium with 22 electronic number, vanadium with 23 electronic number, chromium with 24 electronic number, magnesium with 25 electronic number, and iron with 26 electronic number, cobalt with 27 electronic number, nickel with 28 electronic number, and copper with 29 electronic number, and lastly the zinc with 30 electronic number. Okay, these elements are much more important than those of the second transition series. Okay, so the first property of the, as we know that the transition metals are show the variable oxidation state. So here you can see the we have the half fill, completely filled subshell. So according to half fill and completely filled subshell, the oxidation number is varies. Okay, so here is a table. You can see, yes, you can see in this table the element scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, and zinc. Okay, the group number is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and you can see in this table the lowest oxidation number for the particular element and the highest oxidation state for the particular element. As you can see, the in a first transition series, the lowest oxidation number is +1 and the highest oxidation state is +7, which is has a magnesium element. Okay, so the next property is a complex formation tendency. As we know, we have learned about the characteristics of the D block element. So we previously learned about the complex formation tendency of the D block elements. So here you can see the first block transition series fulfill all the complexes formation condition, and are thus most suitable for this purpose. Okay, as a result, the cation of these elements have a strong tendency for the complexes with certain molecule like CO, NO, NH3, or a several ion like fluorine, chlorine, and cyanide. These molecules and the ion are called ligands. Okay, and have one or more lone pair of a electron on their donor atom, usually on central atom. Okay, which they donate to the metal ion, which is a metal. During this process, the complex formation via metal ligand to metal coordinate covalent bond, not completely covalent bond, it is a coordinate covalent bond, because as we know in a previous lecture, the d block element only make the coordinate covalent bond, it doesn't make the ionic bond, it doesn't make a covalent bond. Okay, so this happens because of metal ions electron deficiency in the most of their oxidation state, or even the atoms and the electrons as well as. Okay, so the small size and a high charge density of the metal ion facilitate the formation of the complexes, which also depend on the basicity of the ligands. Okay, the complex formation tendency increases as the positive oxidation state of the metal ion increases. As you know, the first transition series has a +1 to +7 oxidation state, so the complex formation tendency increases from the +1 to +7 oxidation state. Okay, so the nature of the complexes depend on the orbit availability of the metal ion atom on the for the bonding. If there is a s orbital, p orbital, and t orbital for the complex formation, the structure commonly found in the complexes of the element of the first transition series are linear, square planar, tetrahedral and octahedral. Okay, there is a two example of square planar, which has a metal in a nickel and cyanide as a ligand, and here the square planar structure, nickel is a metal and chlorine is a ligand ion. Okay, the second property is a magnetic behavior of first transition series. So as we have learned earlier, there is a several kind of magnetic observation in the ions and compounds or complexes of the transition metal. Among the transition metal compounds, paramagnetics is a common for the some metals in elements from the some metals are also known as a ferromagnetic and some are the paramagnetic because they show the color. Okay, so what are the origins of the paramagnetism? Okay, the spin motion or the spinning of the electron on its axis produce the spin magnetic moment, which is essential for the magnetic property. Second is the orbital motion or the movement of the electron round the nucleus produces orbital magnetic moment. So the total of orbital magnetic moment and spin magnetic moment counted as a magnetic moment of the particular element. Okay, so on behalf of this characteristic, the metals can be defined as a paramagnetic, ferromagnetic and non-magnetic. Okay, here is a formula to calculate Bohr magneton. Okay, is a 1 Bohr magneton is equals to Eh by 2 pi mc, where H is a Planck constant, E is electronic charge, C is the velocity of the light, and M is the mass of electron. From this formula you can calculate the magnetic number of the atom. Okay, and this is the magnetic moment calculator, where is a mu as bm. Okay, Bohr magneton is equals to g under root s plus 1, whereas s as a resultant spin quantum number, g is a geometric ratio called as a g factor, and the quantity s plus 1 root is a value of the spin angular moment of the electron. Thus the g is a ratio of magnetic moment of the angular momentum. Okay, so for a free electron the g value is nearby 2, so you can put the value of g in this particular equation and you will find the magnetic moment for particular complex or molecule. Okay, so here also the example you can try this for the to calculate the magnetic moment. Okay, so here you can see how you find a hybridization of the complex, okay, present in a first transition state. If we talk about the first transition if series, we have taken the example of MnBr 4 minus 2. Okay, this is the complex, and here we are finding the hybridization for the particular molecule. So if you can see, the Mn has a electronic configuration Ar3d5 for its 2 and 4p0. Here is the ground state. You can see the d orbital has a 5 electron and for its orbital has a 2 electrons. Okay, in excited state you can see only the 5 electron present in a d orbital. The two electron present in a for s orbital will be minused by because of the hybridization state of Mn plus 2. We have to find here is a hybridization state of Mn plus 2. So the excited state for Mn plus 2 is the 3d5, 4s is vacant and p orbital is a vacant. Okay, so we have the 4 Br ligands for coordinate covalent bond. So in this molecule, in this excited state, we have the 4 vacant d or p orbitals for the hybridization. So the hybridization for MnBr 4 minus 2 is sp3 hybridization. Okay, so here you can see the another example like COH2O6 plus 2. Okay, it is a outer sphere orbit outer orbital complexes, and you can also see the CONH3 6 plus 2, it is an inner orbital complex with a central metal ion. Okay, the both of two have a different complexity. So for the COH2 6 plus 2 ion, the hybridization is, the oxidation state will same for both of the plus 2, okay, but the hybridization is changed because the COH2 6 plus 2 is a outer orbital, so it has a sp3d2 hybridization, and CONH3 6 plus 2 is an inner orbital complex, so it has a d2 sp3 hybridization. Okay, so formation of the colored ion, as we know that the transition series element has a colored compound. So for example, COH2O6 plus 2 is a pink color. In this CO plus has a D10 electrons ion, and its salt are colorless, but CO plus 2, which has a D9 ion, and it has a compound as a colored. So according to oxidation state, the color also changes from light to dark or dark to light. Okay, there are some more example you can see here. Okay, so the catalytic activity, as we talk about earlier, that here the elements of the transition series are easily are a good reducting agent as well as a good oxidizing agent, so it can be used as a catalyst. Okay, so element of the first transition series are the compounds that have been used in a many industrial purpose. Their availability in a various oxidation state make them capable for formation of intermediate product with various reactant, and their tendency of formation compounds which can be observed and active the reaction species. Okay, so they are easily used for the catalyst. Okay, you can see the MnO2 used in a catalysis of the decomposition of H2O2. Okay, V2O5 is employed as a catalyst of the oxidation of SO2 to SO3. So these are some example of the catalysts which are used for the oxidation process as well as a reduction process. Okay, the formation of non-stereochemic compound. Okay, the element of the third transition series are capable for formation of the intrinsic compound, which is Ti2C, V2C, scandium, and TIN, Fe, and 4. These compounds have a property of allos. Okay, so these are metal allos. Okay, and what are the metallic character and alloy formation for the these compound? The metal of the first transition series are hard, metallic, and they can present, they are exhibits in a face center cubic and body center cubic or a hexagonal closed package HCP type of the lattice structure. Okay, so here you can see also the these are the alloys like brass, or German silver, or Molen metal. These are some alloys which is made by the first transition series. Okay, now we can discuss about the periodic properties of the first transition series. Okay, so as we know about the melting point, boiling point, ionic radii, these are the periodic properties. So the periodic properties for the first transition series, you can see the atomic radii for the first transition series. You can see if you go top to down, the ionic radii decreases. Okay, so um, it is happen because the outer electron and the increase in nuclear changes along with the period. This is the column, this column is a period. So if the period changes, the electron numbers changes, so that the atomic radii also changes. Okay, there is a atomic volume. We can also see that the atomic volume also decreases from scandium to zinc. Okay, so this is the train of the atomic radii, and the ion with the same charge generally go with the decreasing as we move across to series from first to last element. Okay, here you can see the ionic radii, the trivalent ions, and you can see the comparison between +2 and +3 oxidation state. There is a difference with the changes in oxidation state. So if we, the lower oxidation state has a higher ionic radii. Okay, though if we talk about the melting point and boiling point of these elements are generally higher, and they have irregular trend for this volume. Like the scandium have 1540, then the titanium has 1670, but the vanadium has the highest boiling point, melting point, which is 900. Okay, sorry, 1900. So after that the melting point is decreases. So the vanadium is a highest melting point, and the Zn, the last element, has a low melting point, which is 240 degree. So all the elements from Mn to Cu have lower melting point as compared to other member. The boiling points are very high, like it is higher than 2200, uh, except Zn, which has 906 degrees centigrade. Okay, so if we talk about the ionization energy, you can see the ionization energy increases from scandium to Zn. Okay, next is a standard electron potential or reducting property. You can see here the reducting property first gradually decreases from first it is gradually decreases, sudden it is enhanced for the Mn, and then it is decreases for the for Zn. Okay, so these are the general properties for the first transition series of the d block element. Thank you very much.